If, as I've requested, you've read Ward Connerly's speech, you'll catch the first page about a lady who had some disabilities, and despite her disabilities, she was still out enjoying life. And she still had the gusto to get up every day, despite her disabilities and despite her impairments, to endure. This right here is how I'm going to end this series with A Nation of Equals. And here's my thing as to why this is my favorite part of this speech. And I'll just come out and blatantly say it. This great experiment in general called life, this is one big endurance test, okay? And what I mean by that is this thing doesn't care about your skin color at the end of the day. Life is going to beat you down. Most all of us are going to have a sob story or a few sob stories that got us to the success that we are trying to achieve. So in no way, form, or fashion are you going to get by with trying to hide behind your skin color forever. And see, what I liked about the beginning of this speech is that it goes way beyond that. And the reason I say that is because when Ward Connerly used her, he used her as an example. This speech is more relevant today than it ever has been, because that part of the speech transcends race. It goes right into, now these kids, I'm entitled to this because of my race. I'm entitled to this because of my hardship. I'm entitled to this because, just because. And see, while you're sitting up here whining about your entitlement, you got people with disabilities, some who can't see, some who can't hear, some who can't walk, are making far greater achievements despite their disabilities. You have all your faculties and you're out here complaining. Now, let me get something straight, because some people gonna listen to this, particularly black people in this country. They gonna get mad. For the record, I no longer believe in the concept of pull yourself up from the bootstraps, because sometimes you're trying to pull yourself up and mechanisms are genuinely dragging you down. So I'm not saying you complaining is coming from a place of entitlement. But if we're not going to do pull yourself up from your bootstraps, do understand that life is one big endurance test, and it's hard. It's not going to hand you everything on a silver platter, and it's not going to pet you up. You have to be prepared for its devices. You have to be prepared for its curveballs. This experiment called life will never be linear. You will never plan something and it all go to plan. It won't happen that way. And I think the point that Ward Connerly was probably trying to make with this Gretchen Alexander, who I haven't been able to find online, and that's kind of a common name, so I haven't been able to find her, is that if you remove barriers like making skin color an issue and give people the chance to prove themselves, you'll find out that this great experiment called affirmative action was probably needed to be abolished years ago. And when you go do your research, lots of white institutions weren't letting people of color in. But you got to remember, in the late 1800s, W.E.B. Du Bois graduated from an Ivy League at a time when blacks could hardly get in. There were ethnic minorities getting into those schools, just not in large numbers. So I'm not going to sit here, gaslight you, and say that affirmative action did not help matters. But this new century called the 21st century, what's happening in this century that didn't happen in the 20th century and back? There is no Jim Crow, and there is no slavery to hold you back. Get out there, do what you have to do to endure. Get out there, do what you have to do to sacrifice and be the best version of you can be. And I'm not saying that's always going to be easy, because it's not, but get out there and do it. All right. Thank you so much. And thanks for this series. Please, I encourage you, if you didn't read the speech, go read Ward Connerly, A Nation of Equals. Thank you.